Okay.
A little slow going, but I think we're getting it a little bit.
We're out a little more than we should be.
Okay, let me see the hammer you used.
The hammerhead, see the hammer? See how it's rounded like that? But this hammer is not so good on the outside.
Hey, wait, hold on. Let's put this over there. Throw that on up there.
If you are a fan of classic cars, then you have probably heard of American Restoration, the hit TV show that followed Rick Dale and his team as they transformed forgotten machines into stunning restorations. For years, the series was one of television's most popular restoration shows. But then, without warning, it suddenly disappeared. The network blamed format changes, but many viewers believed something much bigger was happening behind the scenes. So what really caused the downfall of American Restoration? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why American Restoration was shut down forever. Why American Restoration was shut down. American Restoration was running smoothly until things took a turn for the show in 2016. For Season 7, the History Channel completely rebooted the show, cutting Rick and his crew entirely. Instead of focusing on the awesome work they can do, the new format featured 5 different restoration businesses across the country. But there was something happening behind the scenes that many viewers never knew. Although the American Restoration reboot still featured major restoration projects, including a Ford Mustang Boss 302, an Eleanor Ford Mustang restored for Dan Reynolds of Imagine Dragons, a 1941 Plymouth Special Deluxe, a 1936 Crocker motorcycle, rare Harley-Davidsons, and a 1970 Pontiac GTO Judge prepared for a SEMA car show, many viewers still preferred the original format centered around Rick Dale and his team. Ratings failed to match the success of earlier seasons, and the reboot lasted only 1 season before the show was canceled. The cancellation surprised many viewers because no major controversy or confirmed scandal involving the cast ever surfaced. Instead, most discussions about the downfall of American Restoration focused on that single decision to completely change the structure of the series. Now, television networks regularly change established programs when executives believe a format has become too predictable or needs new energy. For example, shows like American Idol went through major changes over the years, including new judges and format adjustments to keep viewers interested. Industry observers have pointed out that reality television often relies on reinvention to maintain viewership over long periods. In this case, however, many longtime viewers believed the change removed the core identity of American Restoration because the show was originally built around Rick Dale, his family, his team, and the personal stories inside Rick's restorations, which were no longer part of the reboot. And this caused a wave of online discussion after Season 7 launched, and many audience reactions followed a similar pattern. Fans repeatedly questioned why Rick Dale had been removed from a show that many people associated directly with him and his workshop. Some viewers said the new version felt like an entirely different program carrying the same title, while others believed that the network could have introduced multiple restoration businesses under a separate series rather than changing an existing one. Part of the criticism centered on familiarity. Earlier seasons created continuity because viewers spent years watching one team operate inside the same environment. Rick Dale's restoration process had become recognizable. The workshop atmosphere remained consistent. The personalities remained familiar. However, by moving between several businesses in one season, the series created more variety, but some viewers felt it lost connection. Audience attachment often determines whether a reality television show continues to succeed or begins to lose viewers. People may start watching because of the idea behind a show, but many long-running series survive because audiences become attached to specific people. Rick Dale had become one of the main reasons many viewers watched American Restoration, so removing him changed the experience for longtime fans. The reboot struggled to build the same connection with viewers. The speed of the show's ending also became part of the discussion around its cancellation. Season 7 became the final season of American Restoration. After the format change in 2016, the show was not renewed for Season 8. The final episode aired on April 1st, 2016, bringing the series to an end. That quick ending led many viewers to believe that audience reaction played a role in the show's cancellation. The History Channel never publicly said that ratings caused the show to end, but television networks often make decisions based on how many people are watching. Many fan discussions and entertainment conversations pointed to lower interest after the reboot as a possible reason the series did not continue. The continued speculation about what brought American Restoration to an end shows how relevant the show remained to its audience. That is one reason many fans still keep asking questions about it years later. But beyond what ended the show, there is another part of the story worth exploring. How did American Restoration begin in the first place? Keep watching, because there is more to the story than most people know. The forgotten story behind American Restoration's start. In 1989, Rick Dale and his wife Kelly started building a small restoration business in Las Vegas around items most people considered useless. Their workshop was packed with rusted gas pumps, broken vending machines, faded Coca-Cola signs, damaged jukeboxes, old bicycles, and worn motorcycles. Most people saw junk waiting for the scrapyard. Rick saw history worth saving. Rick had been interested in machines and metalwork since he was young. Instead of modern products, he became fascinated with vintage American items from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. He admired the design, craftsmanship, and personality older machines carried. Long before television, he spent years learning how antique machines originally looked and worked. He studied original paint colors, logos, wiring systems, chrome finishes, and manufacturing details because he wanted every restoration to look authentic. Rick believed restoration was different from ordinary repair work. Repairing something only made it function again. Restoration meant returning an object to the condition it had been in decades earlier. That process was expensive and took a lot of time. First, the rust had to be removed from the metal. After that, damaged parts had to be rebuilt because many of them were badly worn out. The work became even harder when certain parts were missing completely. Since replacements could no longer be found, Rick and his team had to make new ones from scratch. The repairs did not stop there. Old electrical systems had to be rewired so the machines could work properly again. Once the mechanical work was finished, the focus moved to the appearance. Artwork and logos had to be painted again by hand, chrome needed polishing, and old upholstery had to be replaced. Every small detail mattered to Rick because he wanted each item to look original again. Even with all that hard work, the business struggled financially in the early years because many customers did not understand why restoration cost so much. Rick constantly had to explain the amount of labor involved. Still, he refused to lower his standards. Even when money was tight, he insisted every project be completed properly. Customers slowly began noticing the quality of his work. Machines that arrived covered in rust left the shop looking factory new. Old gas pumps regained their shine. Damaged soda machines looked like they had just come out of the 1950s. Vintage signs looked clean and bright again, without losing their original identity. That attention to detail helped Rick's restorations gain a strong reputation among collectors and antique enthusiasts. Word spread beyond Las Vegas because Rick could restore items many other shops considered impossible to save. And that led to an unexpected turning point for the business. The shop eventually became a family business. Kelly handled much of the business management while Rick focused on restoration work. Another important figure in the workshop was Rick's younger brother, Ron Dale. Ron's personality was completely different from Rick's. Rick was serious, disciplined, and obsessed with details. Ron was loud and constantly joking around. The brothers argued regularly, sometimes over small things, and sometimes over major projects. Customers visiting the shop noticed the tension immediately. Rick became frustrated whenever Ron distracted workers or failed to take projects seriously. Ron mocked Rick for being overly strict and obsessive. Despite the arguments, they depended on each other. Ron brought humor and energy into the workshop, while Rick maintained quality. As the business grew, customers brought in all kinds of antiques connected to family history and personal memories. The restoration process itself became one of the most interesting parts of the business. A single project often required multiple specialists. Metal workers repaired damaged frames. Painters recreated vintage artwork and logos. Upholstery experts restored seats and interiors. Electricians repaired wiring systems that had not worked in decades. Some restorations became extremely difficult because replacement parts no longer existed anywhere. Rick's team often had to create missing pieces manually, using photographs or surviving blueprints as references. Certain projects took weeks or even months to complete, depending on the damage. The major turning point came when producers from the History Channel noticed Rick's work through the show Pawn Stars. Damaged antiques frequently appeared inside the pawn shop, and producers needed someone capable of restoring those items before resale. Rick started appearing on the show whenever restoration work was needed. Viewers quickly noticed him because he spoke naturally about restoration. The History Channel soon decided to create a spin-off series focused entirely on Rick's workshop. In 2010, American Restoration officially premiered. The show introduced viewers to the chaotic environment inside Rick's restorations. Customers regularly brought in objects that looked completely beyond repair. Rick and his team then had to decide whether restoration was possible, how long it would take, and whether the finished product justified the amount of work required. Rick often explained the history connected to each object. That helped viewers appreciate why restoration mattered. The show was not only about fixing machines, it was about preserving memories and pieces of American history. Another important member of the shop was Rick's son, Tyler Dale. Tyler represented the next generation of restoration experts. He worked closely with his father and slowly became more involved in major projects. Rick pushed Tyler hard because he wanted him to understand the discipline and patience restoration required. Their relationship added another layer to the series because viewers watched Rick pass down decades of knowledge to his son. Kelly Mayer, Rick's stepdaughter, also became an important part of the business. She handled office management and customer interactions while helping keep order inside the busy workshop. Her calm personality balanced the rough atmosphere created by the constant arguments between workers. That teamwork helped viewers understand how complicated restoration work actually was. Many people had never realized how much labor was involved in restoring vintage machines properly. As the show grew more popular, the workshop began handling larger and more unusual projects. The team restored vintage automobiles, arcade machines, antique medical equipment, and rare coin-operated devices. Some restorations became especially difficult because original parts had disappeared decades earlier. Rick's team often spent hours researching manufacturing details before beginning work. The series also introduced viewers to parts of American culture many people had forgotten. The restored items came from old diners, gas stations, roadside attractions, and businesses from the middle of the 20th century. Rick has often said that restoration was about preserving history, not simply making money. Over time, however, changes behind the scenes started affecting the series. Some viewers felt later seasons focused less on craftsmanship and more on reality television drama. Many fans believed the atmosphere gradually became less authentic compared to the earlier seasons. Still, the show remained popular because audiences were attached to Rick and the people inside the workshop. A major change happened after the 7th season, which eventually brought the show to an end. However, even though American Restoration became one of the most famous restoration shows on television, Rick Dale and his workshop were not the only people restoring old machines and vintage items. Let's take a closer look at the restoration businesses and television workshops that tried to follow the success of American Restoration. Restoration shows that tried to follow American Restoration. When American Restoration became popular on the History Channel in 2010, many viewers became attached to the idea behind the show. Inside Rick Dale's Las Vegas workshop, old and rusty items were brought back to life. People enjoyed watching damaged items that looked completely useless become valuable again. The show also felt different from many reality programs at the time because it focused heavily on real craftsmanship. The success of American Restoration created interest in many other restoration shows and businesses around the United States, Canada, and even the United Kingdom. One of the closest shows to American Restoration was Counting Cars, which started in August 2012. The series followed Danny Coker and his Las Vegas company, Counts Customs. The shop restored classic American cars, motorcycles, and custom vehicles. Since both shows were connected to Las Vegas and the History Channel, viewers naturally compared them. Counting Cars focused more on flashy custom vehicles than historical restoration. Danny Coker loved bright paint jobs, loud engines, and detailed designs. Customers often brought in classic Mustangs, Cadillacs, Harleys, and old muscle cars that needed complete rebuilds. The workshop atmosphere felt similar to American Restoration because viewers watched workers argue over deadlines, deal with expensive repairs, and try to satisfy customers. The show became very successful because Danny Coker already had recognition from his appearances on Pawn Stars. Fans liked his energetic personality and deep love for vintage vehicles. Many visitors even traveled to Las Vegas to visit Counts Customs after seeing the show. At the same time, some car fans criticized the program because they felt the builds focused too much on style instead of original factory restoration. Still, the series lasted for years and became one of History Channel's biggest automotive shows. Another major restoration program was Fast and Loud, which premiered in June 2012. The show followed Richard Rawlings and mechanic Aaron Kaufman at Gas Monkey Garage in Dallas, Texas. Unlike American Restoration, Fast and Loud focused heavily on business pressure and profit. Richard Rawlings bought damaged or forgotten vehicles from auctions, barns, garages, and junkyards. The team then tried to restore them quickly and sell them for money. The show moved much faster than American Restoration. There were more arguments, tighter deadlines, and higher risks. Viewers respected Aaron Kaufman because of his mechanical skills and calm personality. Many fans believed he was the main reason the restorations looked impressive. Richard Rawlings handled the business side and constantly pushed the team to finish projects faster. That pressure eventually created tension behind the scenes. Around 2017, Aaron publicly explained in interviews that he became tired of unrealistic deadlines and stressful production schedules. His departure became major news among fans of automotive television. Many viewers later said online that the show felt different after Aaron left. But aside from Fast and Loud, there is another show that became famous for emotional restorations. Overhaulin' was very famous during its time. The program originally began in 2004 and was led by famous car designer Chip Foose. The concept was different from most restoration shows because vehicle owners usually did not know their cars were being rebuilt. Friends or family members secretly nominated someone for a surprise restoration. Many of the vehicles on Overhaulin had emotional value. Some belonged to people who lost family members. Others belonged to veterans or older owners who could no longer afford repairs. Chip Foose and his team completely rebuilt the cars before surprising the owners with the finished result. Viewers loved the emotional reactions during the final reveals. The show earned respect because Chip Foose was already well known in the automotive industry before television. Car magazines and builders often praised his designs and creativity. Some critics questioned whether the short television timelines were realistic, but most fans focused on the emotional side of the program and the quality of the finished vehicles. Another important restoration series was Wheeler Dealers, which first aired in the United Kingdom in 2003. The show later became popular internationally. It followed Mike Brewer and mechanic Ed China as they bought used cars cheaply, repaired them carefully, and sold them for profit. What made Wheeler Dealers different was its educational style. The show spent a lot of time explaining how repairs were done. Ed China carefully showed viewers how engines were fixed, parts were replaced, and mechanical problems were solved. Many viewers said they learned real automotive skills from the program. Fans especially respected Ed China because he explained repairs in simple language without unnecessary drama. Problems started in 2017 when Ed left the show after disagreements with producers. He later explained publicly that the production company wanted shorter workshop scenes and less technical detail. Many longtime fans became angry online because they believed the detailed repair process was the best part of the show. For viewers who enjoyed high-end custom builds, Bitchin' Rides became another popular option. The show followed Dave Kindig and his Utah company Kindig It Design. The restorations on Bitchin' Rides were often extremely expensive and detailed. The team built luxury custom cars with modern technology hidden inside vintage designs. Paint jobs, interiors, engines, and chrome work received huge attention. Many fans admired the quality of the craftsmanship because the finished vehicles looked almost perfect. Unlike some reality shows that focused heavily on arguments and stress, Bitchin' Rides showed a calmer and more professional workshop environment. Car enthusiasts often praised Dave Kindig for balancing modern upgrades with classic designs. The show became especially popular among viewers who cared more about craftsmanship than reality television drama. Outside the vehicle world, the repair shop became one of the closest shows in spirit to American restoration. The BBC series started in 2017 inside a large barn workshop in West Sussex, England. Instead of restoring cars, experts repaired clocks, toys, paintings, furniture, musical instruments, and sentimental family heirlooms. The emotional side of the repair shop became its biggest strength. Many items brought into the workshop belonged to dead parents, grandparents, or relatives. Some objects were connected to war memories, childhood memories, or family traditions. The restorers worked carefully to preserve both the object and the emotional story behind it. During the COVID-19 lockdown years, the show became even more popular because many viewers described it as peaceful and comforting television. British newspapers and television critics regularly praised the calm atmosphere and respectful storytelling. Unlike loud reality programs filled with arguments, the repair shop focused on patience, skill, and emotional connection. Pawn Stars also played an important role in the success of American restoration. Before Rick Dale received his own series, he appeared regularly on Pawn Stars restoring old items purchased by Rick Harrison and the pawn shop team in Las Vegas. Viewers enjoyed watching Rick take broken antiques and completely rebuild them. Those appearances became so popular that History Channel eventually created American Restoration around his business. Other shows also followed the same restoration trend. Rust Valley Restorers focused on restoring old cars rescued from junkyards in British Columbia, Canada. The show became popular because it mixed restoration work with emotional personal stories and financial struggles. Barnwood Builders focused on saving and rebuilding historic cabins and barns across rural America. Instead of cars or machines, the team preserved old wooden structures that represented early American history. What connected all these shows was the public's love for restoration itself. People enjoyed watching skilled workers save old things instead of throwing them away. Many viewers also liked the nostalgic feeling these programs created. What do you think caused the sudden end of American restoration? Share your opinions with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.